Lance J Radio Show on Advent Sports Network.
You have a Ferrari in the garage. You want to pull that Ferrari out every once in a while. Krystal's been in some quality family time lately, so it's been difficult to get a hold of her, but she's back in the fold. So I got Krystal, the Lance J Radio Show, Advent Sports Network. Krystal wanted to talk about something that was very poignant and very relevant. Recently, news came out that LeBron James signed a lifetime Nike deal. And I just purchased a pair of, and Krystal's actually making fun of me on Facebook. I actually purchased a pair of very expensive foam posits. As a person that collects foam posits, the Jordan 11s, are coming back out in a re-release. And Krystal was just like, yo, we need to talk about the literal word prostitution of the African-American community, what's going on with the sneakers and how Nike charges us $200 for sneakers. You got kids killing each other for sneakers, just craziness. Right. So I wanted to bring Krystal in to talk about it. So what's going on, Katie?
Hey, what's going on? How you doing? I just appreciate
good.
The compliments, man. You make me feel good when I'm here. I appreciate it. It makes me feel good, yeah. But yeah, this whole thing about these sneakers and these shoes is crazy because it was funny that you posted those sneakers. I saw it on Facebook. And,
yeah, I'm
you know,
don't be jealous. Don't be jealous.
And do you remember my comment? I think I asked whether or not those were the ones that were on sale or not. I thought it was just a default choice. I don't know, but I was joking with you. I mean, they're very popular here in Baltimore. They call them dopes. You feel me? That's what all the boys wear out here on them streets. So, you know, it's in the hood, it's a big sign of, you know, pride, I suppose, and I guess not in the hood either, because we're all buying them, I suppose. But, you know, I've always been a sneakerhead since the time I had my own money. I want to say the very first pair of sneakers that I purchased were Grand Hills. You remember the white ones with the blue kind of circle? It looked like a hill around the side of the shoe.
The OG Filas, those were the OGs, definitely.
Yeah, $91 at Foot Locker. I remember taking my very first paycheck going to get them joints. And I was in love, and ever since then, for a very long time, I put a lot of money into sneakers, and I was never a Jordan head. I'm always one of those people that I don't want to follow the trend, so I never purchased a pair of Jordans. I have one pair now, which my wife bought for me, I want to say 2 years ago for Christmas, but I've never purchased a pair of Jordans. I don't follow the Jordans. I'm not that person. I always like to have something different, but you feel me, just coordinating. I love my kicks. I love my sneakers, so I get it. You feel me? But then when you just start to look like, now that I don't go to Foot Locker as much as I used to. It used to be paycheck, do this, do that, go to Foot Locker, see what I can get, what I'm going to get next time. Whatever the case is, like that's just a ritual. Like I used to buy sneakers, I'll say at least once a month, you feel me? That was just regular. I mean, if you see pictures, I've got at least 50, 60 pairs, and that's just because, I mean, who throws them away? You know what I mean? But going to the sneaker store now, it's like, geez, the cheapest sneakers at $80. And those are just, you know, some running shoes, some New Balance. You know, it's not, you know.
Right.
And, you know, then the question comes in, what are we paying for? You know, really, at the end of the day, when you're ready to put down, you know, especially as a teacher and I see kids come in there whose pants are high waters, you know, shirt dirty, but you got on the freshest pair of Jordans that just came out. And, you know, so you see the priorities and it just the question begs, what are we paying for? Like, why is it so important to us that we're willing to spend this much, you know, on this? Why? Like, why? Is it the quality, you know, or is it the status? And, you know, it has to be the status. It can't be the quality because, you know, sneakers aren't that expensive to make, you know, and so it has to be the name. And when you look at people like, was it Stephon Marbury who did his shoes, his Starbury shoes, and I don't know how well they did. I never, did you ever, I never purchased a pair. Did you ever purchase a pair or wear them?
I've seen a pair in person, and they're ugly shoes. But
yeah, they're not that cute. I mean, I say they're just as ugly as Allen Iverson's, the AIs, those first ones. I hated those Reeboks. They were disgusting to me. But people was dropping $110 on them because they were Allen Iverson sneakers, you feel me? But I thought they were hideous. So, you know, it's all opinion. But at the end of the day, were Stephon Marbury shoes made with any less quality than, say, you know, any other pair of Adidas basketball shoes or whatever that you might spend $60, $70, $80 for in the store? You know, I never wore them, so I can't say. Do you know anybody that actually wore them and balled them? You know, balled in them could tell whether or not they fell apart or slid in your feet or whatever.
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah, so it's kind of hard because a lot of people didn't purchase this. But I will say that I applaud him for at least the effort, you know. And I think the only reason why it didn't sell is because there wasn't a huge name attached to it. I don't know. If Michael Jordan did the same thing, do you think that it would work if Jordan decided, you know what, I'm going to sell my kicks for $14.99? Do you think people would still buy Jordans the same way that we do now?
So that's a great question. For those just tuning in to the Land State Radio Show, I got Krystal on today, and we're talking about just the whole concept and the over-sensationalization and culture within the sneakerhead industry. Why do we pay $200 of grown behind women and men? Why do we pay $200 for Jordan or for foam posits or whatever is going out? So you asked a very good question. If Jordan was selling his sneaks for $29, you get them at Payless, would that be as possible? And I would say yes. I think that the reason, because we all know that Nike makes their sneakers in Indonesia and in China and in places, and we all know that there is little abuse of the young people, third world people, unfortunately, that make Nike shoes. I mean, they're making these shoes for like 25 cents a day, $1 a day, and it only costs roughly $3 to $4 to make a pair of Jordans, and they sell for $220 retail here in the United States. I think that the LeBrons and the Kevin Durant and the Jordan, I think that they would always sell regardless of what they put on, what they put out in the market because of their popularity. I think the popularity is what drives it. Just unfortunately, Nike is the big machine. Like Michael Jordan, when he first signed his deal, he was the first huge multi-million-dollar deal, and he was the person that put Nike on the map. Before you had Magic and Bird, they had to deal with Converse, and I had a pair of Larry Bird Converses when I was a kid. That was the first pair of expensive shoes that I bought, and they were like $60 back in like 1987, 86. I think it's the popularity of the athlete. The athlete doesn't buy the factory. The athlete doesn't own the supply chain. The athlete doesn't have all of those factors in place. Nike uses the athlete, some would say would exploit the athlete and their popularity to be able to sell those same shoes that only cost $3 to make for $200 instead of selling them for $30. So it's kind of a catch-22. Why would Nike invest in Michael Jordan and elevate him and LeBron and give them the ability to have their own brand and then turn around and sell it for $20? And why would LeBron or Michael Jordan, as a young 23, 24-year-old man, why would they invest in a factory and all of that supply chain to get the product to market?
I start to question, you know, we can't be paying for quality because we already know that they only cost $2 or $3 to make. And I have no problem with paying for quality, but I think the issue is that once you start putting out these athletes or whatnot, that's just the monster. That's what it becomes, and that's what it is. And, I mean, you know, Jordans that they were sold for, I mean, now if they went down $14.99, I think there might be some people who may not want to purchase them simply because they didn't go and drop $200 for them, you know, because that's part of their purchasing experience. Yo, I got $200, $250 on these right here, you feel me?
Yeah,
you know, because
it's definitely a status symbol. Yeah, it's like if I know that I can bust out, I mean, I have a pair of foam posits that they're a very rare pair of foam posits, and they retail, I mean, you can get them on the black market for about $4.25. They're over $400. I may wear them once a year, and every time I wear them, people are like, yo, where did you get those? I've never seen anything like that. And that's why I spit what I spit, so that when I'm walking down the street that someone could stare. So it's definitely on that vanity tip, right? It's definitely, and this is a Christian radio network, it's definitely self-glorification, right? That's the reason that I'm rocking it, so that I walk up in the spot, you know that I'm a boss because I can shell out $400 or $500 for a pair of kicks and it ain't nothing.
In 49 BC, Julius Caesar led an army over the Rubicon River from Gaul into northern Italy. By doing so, he crossed the point of no return and declaration of war against the Roman Empire. Centuries later, you are listening to Jeremy Winston reach his point of no return only on Advent Sports The Rubicon.
Great show, man. I've got the chance to check it out, check out several of your episodes, man. And I think it's a breath of fresh air. It's great to hear people that you wouldn't ordinarily hear talk about sports and ministry in the same conversation. And I think it's relevant, man. And I just want to encourage anybody who's listening to spread the word about this. This is a great opportunity, not only for some great dialogue and discussion, but also some great ministry as well. So, man, hats off to you, man. You're doing a phenomenal job.
Sports talk, ministry, excellence. You are listening to the Lance J Radio Show.
Excuse me, I just got to get through. I'm looking for my ball. This is golf.
Is this your ball?
Yes, it is.
It struck my foot.
Doug!
That's two thus far, shooter.
Oh, you can count. Good for you.
And you can count on me waiting for you in the parking lot.
You are listening to the Lance J Radio Show on Advent Sports
You're
Network.
listening to the Lance J Radio Show Top 5 Dead or Alive segment. I'm paying homage to Jada Kiss and his new album, which I probably should be paying homage to on an Adventist Christian network. Nevertheless, we're going over the top 5 NFL teams heading into the playoffs. Number 5, the Seattle Seahawks. I know that they lost yesterday. Nevertheless, Russell Wilson has been on a tear lately. He's really emerged since Jimmy Graham's gone down, coming to be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Seattle's defense will travel, and if you look at their schedule, they're already locked into the playoffs. They're probably going to end up playing the Washington Redskins, who are not an extremely good playoff team, and then they're going to have a shot at the Carolina Panthers, who historically they've been able to give Cam Newton all types of problems. So Seattle's number 5. Number 4 is Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals arguably have the best roster in the NFL. They're really good on offense and defense. Great tight ends, great linebackers, good pass rush, good offensive line. I do not think that they have a chance to win the Super Bowl because of Marvin Lewis and Andy Dalton. I don't think that coach QB combination is good enough. However, if you look at Denver kind of falling apart with Peyton being hurt, Osweiler being an early developing quarterback, and you look at the New England Patriots with Tom Brady, his weapons really being hurt and they're really banged around, this could be the year that the Bengals break through. Number 3, the third best team in the NFL is the Carolina Panthers. I am not downgrading them because they lost yesterday. They had always been third on my radar. The Panthers are a really good team. They definitely can win the Super Bowl. I would not say that they're the favorite. However, Luke Kuechly in that defense, you got Norman playing quarterback at a Pro Bowl level. Of course, you got Cam, who's the MVP of the league, best quarterback in the league this year. This team is very well coached. This team is galvanized. They play like a team. They have fire. They have hunger. They're tenacious, but they don't have the experience. They've never gone deep into the playoffs. Cam has never had to play in a game where all of the stakes are there. So I'm not willing to put them near the top, but they are a threat. That loss to Atlanta yesterday actually helps them because it takes a bit of the bullseye off of their back. Number 2 is the New England Patriots. You got Belichick and Brady. Until somebody smacks them around and just dethrones them, anytime they have a moderately healthy roster, they're going to be a threat. We were talking about the best coach QB combo in the NFL. And then number 1, the team that I've been saying pretty much most of the year is the best team in the NFL and my favorite to win the Super Bowl, the Arizona Cardinals. This team is loaded on both sides of the ball. You have a veteran QB in Carson Palmer. You have an amazing offensive line. You have explosive defensive players like Patrick Peterson. You still have Fitzgerald on offense. They have 3 receivers who can beat you, good linebacking core, very well-coached team with Bruce Arians, who's a beast. I wish that the Colts, my team, had kept him instead of keeping Pagano and going completely into the toilet. But nevertheless, I digress. The Arizona Cardinals are the best team in the NFL right now, and my favorite to win the Super Bowl this year. You're listening to The Lance J Radio Show on Advent Sports Network.
The Lance J Radio Show is taped at Advent Sports Network Studios, located in beautiful Emerald City of Seattle, Washington.